Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies, let me ask you something. How many times have you bent over backward, compromised your peace, and ignored your instincts, all for a man who couldn't even see your worth? How often have you poured all of yourself into someone, only to feel empty in return? We've all been there, chasing love so hard we forget about loving ourselves. But hear me when I say this, there are things you should never do for a man. Not because you're cold-hearted, not because you're selfish, but because your dignity, your soul, and your self-respect are worth more than any relationship that asks you to sacrifice them. This isn't about bitterness. It's about clarity. It's about recognizing the difference between love and losing yourself. Today we're talking about the things you should never do for a man, no matter how much you care, no matter how much you want it to work. Because if you don't stand for yourself, who will? Let's dive in. In the pursuit of love, too many women make the mistake of losing themselves to gain a man's approval or affection. It starts small, adjusting your preferences, silencing your opinions, or holding back your dreams. But before you know it, you're no longer living for yourself, you're living for him. And let me tell you something that's not love. That's self-abandonment disguised as devotion. Love isn't about shrinking yourself to fit someone else's world. It's not about dimming your light so they can shine brighter. If you have to lose the essence of who you are just to keep a man happy, then you're not in a relationship, you're in a sacrifice. And sacrifices like that only lead to heartbreak and regret. A man worth your time and love will never ask you to choose between your dreams and his comfort. He won't demand that you stay quiet when you're burning to speak your truth. Real love doesn't erase you, it amplifies you. It encourages you to be your most authentic self, not some version that's convenient for someone else's life. So, why do so many of us fall into this trap? It's because we've been conditioned to believe that love is about compromise, about bending until we break. Society tells us that being the perfect partner means always putting him first, even if it costs us everything. But let me remind you, your life isn't a bargain to be negotiated away for scraps of affection. When you lose yourself for a man, you're teaching him how to treat you. You're telling him, my needs don't matter as much as yours, and over time, this dynamic becomes the norm. You begin to accept less and less, convincing yourself it's what you deserve. But deep down, you know that love was never meant to feel like this. Let this be your wake-up call. You are worthy of a love that sees you, values you, and celebrates you for who you are. You don't have to hide your ambitions, water down your personality, or set aside your goals to keep a relationship afloat. If a man truly loves you, he will support you in growing into the best version of yourself, not pull you away from it. And if you're in a relationship where you feel like you've lost yourself, it's time to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what parts of me have I given up to keep this relationship alive? Am I happy, or am I just surviving? Because no love is worth losing the one person who's been with you through it all. Remember, love is not about chasing someone who doesn't see your worth. It's about standing tall, being unapologetically yourself, and letting the right person find their way to your light. Never trade your identity for love. The man who deserves you will cherish your uniqueness, not try to change it. In the journey of love, it's easy to slip into the mindset that your partner's comfort should take precedence over your aspirations. Society often glorifies self-sacrifice in relationships, painting the picture that true love means putting someone else's needs before your own. But let's be real, sacrificing your dreams for a man's comfort is a recipe for unhappiness, regret, and resentment. When you prioritize his desires over your own, you're essentially telling yourself that your dreams don't matter. You might find yourself shelving career goals, giving up hobbies, or compromising on your passions, all in the name of keeping the peace. But here's the truth. True love is about mutual support and encouragement, not about one person stifling the other's dreams. Consider this: when you enter a relationship, it should enhance your life, not diminish it. Love should be a source of inspiration that propels you toward your goals, not a weight that drags you down. If you're in a situation where you feel you must choose between your ambitions and your partner's comfort, it's time to reevaluate. Think about how many talented women have abandoned their dreams because they felt obligated to support their partner's journey. They've traded in their own aspirations for the sake of a relationship, only to wake up one day feeling lost and unfulfilled. It's a tragic cycle that often leads to bitterness. And let's face it, resentment can poison a relationship faster than you can imagine. Moreover, when you sacrifice your dreams, you inadvertently create a dynamic where your partner may take your sacrifices for granted. He might become complacent, thinking your aspirations are secondary, and this could lead to feelings of being undervalued or unappreciated. This imbalance in the relationship can erode the foundation of love and respect, leaving both partners discontented. But it's never too late to reclaim your dreams. If you found yourself sidelined, start by reflecting on what you truly want. What are the passions you've set aside? What dreams have you allowed to fade in the background? Reconnect with those desires and remember that they are just as important as anyone else's. Communicate with your partner about your aspirations. A healthy relationship thrives on open dialogue. Let him know that your dreams matter, and you deserve his support as much as he deserves yours. If he truly loves you, he will understand that your ambitions are not a threat, but a complement to your relationship. It's crucial to recognize that being in a relationship does not mean sacrificing your identity or ambitions. The right partner will celebrate your growth, encouraging you to chase your dreams and achieve your goals. You should never feel like you need to dim your light for someone else to shine. Ultimately, love should be about growth both individually and as a couple. Never let your dreams be the collateral damage of a relationship. Stand firm in your aspirations and watch as your partner rises to the occasion, inspired by your strength and determination. Remember, you are not only worthy of love, you are worthy of a life that fulfills you, a life that aligns with your deepest dreams and desires. We've all heard the phrase, "I'm just waiting for him to change." It's a common refrain among women who find themselves in relationships filled with unfulfilled promises and unmet needs. While hope is a powerful force, endlessly waiting for a man to change is often a recipe for heartbreak and disappointment. It's time to acknowledge a hard truth. You cannot transform someone into the person you want them to be. When you invest your energy into waiting for someone to change, you are essentially placing your happiness in their hands. You convince yourself that if you just give it enough time, he'll see the light and become the partner you've always wanted. But this mindset can trap you in a cycle of unending hope, preventing you from recognizing the reality of the situation. Ask yourself, what have you given up while waiting for him to change? How many moments of joy have you sacrificed in the hope that he might one day step up? This waiting game can lead to a significant loss of your own identity and happiness, leaving you feeling unfulfilled and resentful. It's essential to recognize the difference between supporting a partner through their growth and waiting indefinitely for them to become someone they're not. Supporting someone means being there as they strive to improve, but it should never mean losing yourself in the process. When your life becomes a waiting room for someone else's transformation, you're not living, you're merely existing. Think about it this way: if someone truly cares about you, they will be inspired to grow and evolve alongside you, not because you're waiting for them to change, but because they see your value and want to be a better partner. Change should come from within, not as a result of someone else's expectations or patience. The truth is that change is a personal journey, and each person must take responsibility for their growth. You can encourage and support your partner, but ultimately they must choose to make that change for themselves. If he's not ready to change, no amount of waiting or wishing will make it happen. Instead of waiting, focus on your own growth and happiness. Embrace your passions, cultivate your interests, and invest in friendships that lift you up. When you prioritize your well-being, you send a powerful message that you deserve a partner who is ready to meet you where you are, not someone who needs to be fixed. If you find yourself waiting and waiting, it may be time to reassess the relationship. Are you holding on to the hope of who he could be rather than accepting who he is? Letting go of this hope can be one of the most liberating decisions you make. It opens the door to new possibilities, allowing you to pursue a life filled with joy and fulfillment, whether that's with him or on your own. Remember, you are worthy of a love that uplifts you, not one that leaves you in a perpetual state of waiting. Don't settle for a relationship that keeps you in limbo. Life is too short to wait for someone else to change. Instead, invest in yourself and be ready to embrace the love and life you truly deserve. Change happens when you decide to take charge of your own happiness, and that's where real transformation begins. When it comes to relationships, we often find ourselves blinded by love or infatuation, ignoring the subtle signals that hint at deeper issues. Red flags can appear in many forms: disrespectful behavior, lack of communication, controlling tendencies, or an unwillingness to compromise. But let's get one thing clear: ignoring these warning signs is a dangerous game that can lead to heartache and pain. It's time to open our eyes and recognize that these red flags are not just minor inconveniences, they are indicators of potential problems that could jeopardize our happiness and well-being. At the start of a relationship, it's easy to overlook red flags because we are caught up in the excitement of new love. We may rationalize bad behavior or dismiss our gut feelings, convincing ourselves that everything will work out in time. But this approach often leads to heartache down the road. If you find yourself making excuses for your partner's behavior, it's a clear sign that you are ignoring the red flags waving right in front of you. For instance, if your partner frequently belittles you or dismisses your opinions, that's a red flag you cannot afford to ignore. Disrespect is a fundamental issue that can erode the foundation of any relationship. You deserve a partner who values and respects you for who you are. If someone cannot treat you with kindness and consideration, it's time to reevaluate whether this relationship is worth your time and energy. Another common red flag is controlling behavior. If your partner tries to dictate who you spend time with, what you wear, or how you live your life, it's a sign that they may not have your best interests at heart. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and trust, not control and manipulation. If you feel like you are losing your freedom or autonomy, it's crucial to address this issue head-on rather than hoping it will magically resolve itself. Communication is also a significant factor in any relationship. If your partner is unwilling to discuss important issues or avoid conflicts at all costs, that can create long-term problems. Effective communication is the cornerstone of a healthy partnership. If you find yourself constantly walking on eggshells or feeling unheard, take a step back and evaluate what that means for the future of your relationship. Remember, red flags are often the universe's way of signaling that something is off. Ignoring them only puts you on a path toward deeper emotional turmoil. Instead of brushing aside your instincts, trust your gut feelings. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. You have the power to set boundaries and make choices that prioritize your happiness and well-being. Don't let the fear of being alone or the hope that things will change keep you in a relationship that compromises your self-worth. In the end, acknowledging red flags and taking action is an act of self-love. It means recognizing your value and refusing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. Embrace the strength that comes from walking away from relationships that don't honor you. You are worthy of love that uplifts you, respects you, and allows you to thrive as your true self. Trust yourself, listen to your intuition, and never ignore the red flags. They are there to guide you toward a healthier, happier future. In many relationships, one partner often takes on the role of the emotional crutch for the other. This means that one person becomes the primary source of support, constantly offering comfort, validation, and encouragement, while the other leans heavily on them for emotional stability. While it's natural to want to support your partner, becoming their emotional crutch can lead to an imbalance that is unhealthy for both of you. When you find yourself always being the one to listen to his problems, offer solutions, and soothe his fears, it can be easy to forget about your own needs. You may prioritize his emotional well-being over your own, often neglecting your feelings and aspirations. Over time, this can leave you feeling drained, unappreciated, and resentful. You may begin to feel like your partner depends on you for their happiness, and this is a heavy burden to bear. It's essential to recognize that healthy relationships are built on mutual support, not dependence. While being there for your partner is important, both individuals should contribute to the emotional landscape of the relationship. If you're always the one providing emotional support, it may indicate that your partner is relying on you to fill a void in their own emotional development. This reliance can create an unhealthy dynamic where they may feel entitled to your support without reciprocating. Being someone's emotional crutch can also stifle their personal growth. When you constantly come to the rescue, you may inadvertently enable their reliance on you instead of encouraging them to address their challenges independently. This can prevent them from developing the coping mechanisms and resilience necessary for a healthy emotional life. In the long run, this not only affects them but can also hold you back from pursuing your own dreams and goals. So, what can you do if you find yourself in this situation? First and foremost, it's crucial to set boundaries. Clearly communicate to your partner that while you care about them and want to support them, you cannot be their sole source of emotional support. Encourage them to seek other outlets, whether it's talking to friends, family, or even a therapist. This shift allows them to develop their emotional resilience while freeing you from the weight of being their only support system. Additionally, prioritize your own emotional health. Engage in activities that bring you joy, practice self-care, and surround yourself with people who uplift you. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly giving without receiving, you will eventually run dry. By nurturing your own emotional well-being, you'll be in a better position to support your partner without sacrificing your own needs. Lastly, encourage open communication within the relationship. Discuss your feelings and concerns with your partner. A healthy partnership thrives on honesty and transparency. If they are unaware of how their reliance on you affects you, they may not realize the need for change. In conclusion, while being supportive is an essential part of love, it's crucial to maintain balance. You deserve a partner who shares the emotional load, who encourages your growth, and who recognizes your worth. Don't allow yourself to become an emotional crutch instead. Strive for a partnership where both individuals can flourish together, supporting each other without losing themselves in the process. Remember, you are worthy of love that respects and nurtures your spirit as much as you nurture theirs. Setting standards in a relationship is not just about maintaining your self-respect, it's about recognizing your worth and what you deserve. Unfortunately, many women find themselves in situations where they feel compelled to apologize for having standards, as if wanting basic respect and kindness is asking for too much. This phenomenon often leads to dissatisfaction, resentment, and ultimately, heartbreak. It's time to challenge this mindset and understand that you should never apologize for your standards. From the very beginning of a relationship, it's essential to establish what you value and expect from your partner. Standards can encompass a wide range of behaviors, such as how you wish to be treated, the level of communication you expect, and the kind of emotional support you require. When you articulate these standards, you are advocating for your happiness and laying the groundwork for a healthy relationship. However, it's common for women to feel guilty for voicing their needs. They may worry that they'll come off as demanding or unrealistic, leading them to downplay their expectations. Let's be clear, wanting to be treated with respect, honesty, and love is not a crime. It is your right. If your partner makes you feel guilty for having standards, it's a red flag that he may not value you or your feelings. Instead of apologizing, you should assert your needs confidently. A partner who truly cares for you will appreciate your honesty and strive to meet your expectations, rather than making you feel bad for having them in the first place. Apologizing for your standards can also lead to a slippery slope where you start to lower your expectations over time. When you excuse unacceptable behavior, you may find yourself accepting less than you deserve. This can create a toxic dynamic in which your partner learns that he can get away with disrespect or inconsideration, believing that you will always apologize for wanting better. Another issue is that when you apologize for your standards, you inadvertently diminish your self-worth. It sends a message that you do not believe you deserve to have your needs met, which can undermine your confidence and self-esteem. When you fail to recognize your value, it can lead to a cycle of settling for less and enduring behaviors that make you unhappy. Instead, embrace your standards and see them as a reflection of your self-respect. Acknowledge that wanting a partner who communicates openly, treats you kindly, and supports your dreams is entirely valid. This mindset empowers you to approach relationships from a place of strength rather than desperation. If you find yourself in a situation where your standards are met with resistance or ridicule, take a step back. Ask yourself if this relationship is serving you. You deserve a partner who respects your expectations and actively works to meet them, not someone who makes you feel guilty for wanting the bare minimum. In conclusion, never apologize for having standards. They are essential to maintaining your self-worth and ensuring that you are treated with the love and respect you deserve. By standing firm in your expectations, you not only advocate for yourself, but also set a precedent for how you wish to be treated in all aspects of your life. Remember, your standards are a reflection of your value. They are not negotiable, and you are worthy of a love that honors and respects them. In any relationship, it's essential to feel accepted and valued for who you are. However, many women find themselves in situations where they compromise their core values in pursuit of their partner's validation. This desire for approval can lead to a profound internal struggle, where you may sacrifice your beliefs, morals, and even your identity to maintain the relationship. Let's explore why compromising your values is not only unhealthy, but ultimately detrimental to your happiness and self-esteem. When you find yourself altering your beliefs or behaviors to fit someone else's expectations, it's a sign that the relationship may be fundamentally flawed. True love should celebrate your uniqueness, not pressure you to conform to someone else's ideals. If you feel you need to change who you are to be accepted or loved, it's essential to pause and reflect on the implications of that dynamic. For instance, consider a situation where your partner dismisses your values around important topics such as family, religion, or career ambitions. If you start to downplay your beliefs or pretend to share his opinions just to gain his approval, you risk losing your authentic self. This compromise can lead to feelings of resentment and frustration, as you may feel like you're living a lie. Over time, this can create a chasm in the relationship where genuine connection is replaced by facade and pretense. Moreover, compromising your values for validation can lead to a lack of self-respect. When you prioritize someone else's approval over your own principles, you diminish your worth. This self-sacrifice often stems from insecurity and the fear of being alone. However, the truth is that being with someone who does not honor your values is far more isolating than being single. A healthy relationship should empower you, not drain your spirit. It's crucial to understand that your values are integral to your identity. They shape your decisions, guide your actions, and ultimately define the person you are. When you compromise these values, you create a disconnect between your true self and the persona you project in the relationship. This dissonance can lead to internal conflict, anxiety, and a lack of fulfillment. Instead of seeking validation through compromise, embrace your values as your guiding principles. Recognize that your beliefs, passions, and aspirations are worthy of respect. When you stand firm in who you are, you attract the right partner, someone who appreciates you for your authentic self, rather than for a version of you that you fabricated. Communicate openly with your partner about your values and what matters to you. A supportive partner will not only respect your principles, but will encourage you to uphold them. If he dismisses your beliefs or tries to undermine them, it's time to evaluate whether this relationship aligns with your true self. In conclusion, never compromise your values for someone else's validation. Your beliefs are not negotiable. They are a testament to your character and integrity. Embrace them wholeheartedly, and remember that the right partner will not only accept your values, but will celebrate them. By staying true to yourself, you create the foundation for a healthy and fulfilling relationship where both partners can thrive without fear of judgment or rejection. Remember, you deserve love that uplifts you, respects your beliefs, and encourages you to be the best version of yourself. In the pursuit of love and companionship, it's not uncommon to find yourself caught up in the desire to make your partner happy. However, there's a fine line between supporting your partner and losing your own identity in the process. When you begin to prioritize his happiness over your own, you risk sacrificing your passions, dreams, and ultimately your sense of self. Let's explore why losing yourself to make someone else happy is not only unhealthy, but also counterproductive to building a strong and balanced relationship. At the outset, it's essential to acknowledge that relationships require compromise and effort from both partners. Supporting your loved one in their endeavors and being there for them during difficult times is a beautiful aspect of love. However, this support should never come at the expense of your own happiness or well-being. When you start to feel like your sole purpose in the relationship is to make him happy, it's a red flag that something is amiss. Often, women fall into the trap of believing that their worth is tied to their partner's happiness. This mindset can stem from societal conditioning, where women are often praised for being nurturing and self-sacrificing. While these qualities are admirable, they can lead to an unhealthy dynamic if taken to the extreme. If you find yourself constantly adjusting your plans, interests, and even your personality to keep him content, you may be losing touch with who you really are. Consider this: when you sacrifice your own happiness and interests, you might initially feel a sense of fulfillment. However, over time, you may experience feelings of emptiness and resentment. The joy you derive from seeing him happy can quickly turn into a sense of obligation, leading to burnout. You may begin to feel like you are living for someone else instead of enjoying your own life. Moreover, losing yourself in a relationship can create an unhealthy dependency. If your identity becomes so intertwined with his happiness, you may struggle to find joy outside the relationship. This dependency can lead to anxiety and fear of losing the relationship, as your sense of self-worth becomes tied to your partner's feelings. Instead of losing yourself, strive for a balance where both partners' needs and happiness are considered equally. Make it a priority to pursue your own interests, hobbies, and friendships. Nurture your passions and take time for self-care. When you prioritize your own happiness, you not only become a more fulfilled individual, but also a more supportive partner. Communicate openly with your partner about your needs and desires. A healthy relationship thrives on mutual understanding and respect. If he genuinely cares for you, he will encourage you to maintain your individuality and will want to see you happy, not just when you're making him happy. In conclusion, never lose yourself in the name of love. Your identity, passions, and dreams are what make you unique and special. A loving partner will appreciate you for who you are and will support your journey toward happiness, just as you should support theirs. Embrace your individuality and remember that true love flourishes when both partners can thrive as their authentic selves. You deserve a relationship that enriches your life, not one that diminishes your spirit. Stay true to yourself, and you will attract the love that honors your journey.